All right, so 2023's A Man Called Otto is directed by Mark Forrester, screenplay by David McGee, based upon the novel A Man Called Ove by Frederick Beckman, and the film A Man Called Ove by Hans Holm, which I have heard is a British film. And, the complaints oftentimes when it comes to American films, based off of British films and American shows based off of British shows, the complaint is, why do you have to do it? Why do you have to remake it for American audiences? And while I understand, The Office is one of my favorite shows of all time, so maybe this will be one of my favorite movies of all time. Who knows? But yeah, that's a valid complaint. Why do you have to remake something that's already been made? Why do you have to remake something that's British just for American audiences? I get that. But at the same time, in this movie, you got Tom Hanks, so who can really complain? In this film, Tom Hanks plays Otto Anderson, who is a grumpy old man who lives in this neighborhood. He is a real stickler for the rules. He doesn't like people very much. And, he's really just kind of down in life. His wife passed away, and he kind of just wants to end it all. And it's not until a new family moves in that he starts to regain that lust for life and, starts to see things on the brighter side. And that family here is Mariana Trevino as Marisol and Manuel Garcia-Rulfo as Tommy. Marisol is really the main one that we see in this film as opposed to Tommy. She's the one that really challenges Otto, and kind of makes him change his ways a bit and gets him to open up and lighten up. And her character in here, fantastic. I love the way that Mariana Trevino played her. I haven't really seen her in anything else as far as I know, but I'm excited to see her in more after seeing her in this, because she definitely held her own with such an incredible actor as Tom Hanks. And I'll be honest, I'm not, overwhelmingly positive about the last year or so of Tom Hanks movies with Pinocchio and Elvis. Pinocchio is, spoiler alert, for my top 10 worst movie of 2022, or top 10 worst movies of 2022 list. But Pinocchio actually beat Morbius for me. I think that movie is just soulless. And Tom Hanks, I don't think it's completely his fault, but the character there just didn't do it for me. And in Elvis, I thought his character there, the Colonel, was just such a cartoon character. I didn't hate that movie. I believe it was on my honorable mentions for my top 10 favorites of the year. But yeah, just him alone in that movie just kind of ruined it for me. And I, again, don't think it's Tom Hanks' fault. I just think that's the writing that he was given. By the way, it wouldn't be a review for a Tom Hanks movie if I didn't say this. Tim Hanks. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I love that scene from, there you go. But yeah, Rachel Keller in here plays Sonia, which, by the way, in here we get flashbacks to a younger Otto's life, and Sonia is his wife who passed away. And, she basically plays the younger version. You don't see the older version, really, just the younger version. But we have Truman Hanks, which I believe, pretty sure, is the son to Tom Hanks, playing young Otto Anderson, which I think is very cool. We have Cameron Britton as Jimmy, Mac Beta as Malcolm, Juanita Jennings as Anita. We have Peter Lawson as Ruben. We have Kaylee Hyman as Barb. We have Max Pavel as Andy. And then the kids in the film, the kids to Marisol and Tommy, Christina Montoya as Luna. And Christina Montoya, that is such a cool name. And then Alessandra Perez as Abby. But cute kids, don't play a huge part as much as Marisol does and some of the other neighbors in the neighborhood. But it's a very simple story. It's probably not going to be a super long review here because there's only so much I can say about this movie. But it did make me cry. It did make me laugh. It has all the different emotions in this film, and I think it balances them all very well. At times it can be very dark, but, not even 10 seconds later you can be laughing. And, that's not an easy thing for any film to do, I think, in my opinion. The humor in here really does work very well for me. You kind of should hate Otto Anderson as a character. He's basically a male Karen, and they set him up to be that in the very beginning of the film. And you kind of set him up to not be someone you would like, but throughout the film, you come to love him. And, you can really understand why he got the way that he is because of certain things that happened in his life. And you don't necessarily agree with the way that he's going about it, but at the same time, you're just so hopeful that he'll, get his strength back to to want to live life. And this is a PG-13 rated movie. So I would stick to that rating, honestly, because it does deal with themes of suicide. It does have scenes of attempted suicides in here. So it's not necessarily something for younger audiences that I think would be completely appropriate for them, and maybe not something they could completely understand as of right now. But, maybe with older audiences, 13 and up, maybe that's the time where they can actually start to understand these kind of darker themes and more heavier themes, I should say. But yeah, I mean, it definitely does have heavy themes, but at the same time, like I said, the humor, like you get those suicide attempts, but like 10 seconds later, there's something going on outside that Otto has to go take care of, and you're just laughing at him going out there and just getting mad at the situation. While in the back of your mind, you're just like, wow, that's really dark, because not even 10 seconds ago, you had a noose around your neck. And, I'm not going to age restrict this video because, I don't feel like it. When I age restrict videos, honestly, on this channel, it makes them not do as well. I learned that with Babylon. But, yeah, I mean, heavier themes in here. So if you're a younger kid, or if you have younger kids, younger than 13, maybe not the film for them to watch. But yeah, I mean, that's just me personally. If I had a kid that was, younger than 13, I probably wouldn't want them watching this one personally until they're a little bit older to kind of grasp those themes. But yeah, all the cast in here, even though you might not recognize most of them other than Tom Hanks, they all work together very well. Marisol, Mariana Trevino, she holds her own up with Tom Hanks. They're the two main characters of the story. Their friendship is honestly the heart of the film. And, they both do such a great job. They have such great chemistry in this film that, it makes it worth watching alone for sure. But yeah, let me see here. I think I already mentioned the whole, British film remake thing. But yeah, let me see. Heartwarming, very heartwarming movie for sure. It'll gut punch you up, at the same time it'll make you say, "Aw, how cute." There's moments in here where Otto just does things that kind of seem out of character, which, they aren't out of character. It's just a side of him that you don't really see too often. So when you see that side of him, it just warms your heart. You're just like, oh, and then people just being nice to him and stuff, like, even though he's just being rotten to them. And, it's a great movie. I would recommend it. I don't want to say too much, honestly, but, yeah, it has some great moments in there. Yeah, but every year, at least for the past 3 years since I've been doing reviews, there's been a movie that comes out very early on in the year, either January or February, that I really like, that has this similar kind of feel to it, a heartwarming story that'll kind of make you cry, make you laugh. Last year it was Dog with Channing Tatum. I would recommend that. It made my honorable mentions at least, but not my top 10. And then the year before, there's a movie called Our Friend, which I believe has Casey Affleck, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Casey Affleck. It also has, I can't remember his name, Jason Segel and Dakota Johnson, I think. So hard to remember those names for me, but great movie. Didn't quite make my top 10, and I think this is another one of those movies that, since it came out so early in the year, it's a movie as of right now, where it stands, it's the first 2023 movie I've seen. It's my favorite movie of 2023, of course. But is it going to stay that way for long? There's a lot of really great movies coming out this year, so probably not. This is one that'll probably get swept under the rug when it comes to my top 10 list. It'll most likely get an honorable mention, but, it won't end up in that top 10. And, as for audiences as well, when it comes to Oscar season, is this a movie that's going to get nominated for anything because it came out so early in the year? Probably not, because a lot of those types of movies typically come out a little bit later in the year, at least in my experience. But, yeah, I mean, we'll really have to see how this one does in theaters and whatnot. I'll kind of have to watch the box office and see how it does. It's one of the first films of the year, but also it's getting released along with Megan. So, a lot of people are excited about that movie. I think this one might get swept under the rug in terms of the box office as well, which is unfortunate because I would recommend checking this movie out. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a standard ticket. Definitely worth the price of admission. Premium ticket worth buying on VOD after watching it in theaters when it comes out. or Blu-ray or DVD. Not necessarily, but it's worth watching in theaters at least once just for the experience, just to say, hey, first movie of 2023 I watched, but maybe some people would rather watch Megan, and I could kind of understand because that one just kind of seems more appealing to a wider audience, I guess. But yeah, definitely consider checking this one out if you get the chance. Have you seen 2023's, why did I just forget the name? A Man Called Otto. What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you in the middle? I definitely very much enjoyed this movie, but again, it's probably one of those that I may or may not forget by the end of the year, may or may not forget in like a few months or so, so we'll really have to wait and see. But yeah, I know a very short review, but like I said, with a movie like this, there's really only so much you can say, and I don't want to just ramble just to ramble. So, have you not seen this? Are you planning on watching it anytime soon? Why or why not? I would love to hear from you. Really, any comments you would want to leave down below. I respond to pretty much every comment. So, regardless of what it is, I would love to hear from you as long as it's not like anything mean-spirited, I guess. But, yeah, leave a like on the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload, and I will see you in the next one.